Smite Console League action coming at you still. My name's Tom Battinger. That's going to be Taco. And we've got the SCL relegation coming at you. Game number 2 here. Earlier we saw SCL representative Starboys take on Anti-Venom, and they kind of trounced them. And now we're going to get into Strictly Business defending their spot against Relevated Gamers.
The other SB, except a couple of familiar faces, even more so on this roster with Strictly Business. You've got Fatal Ghost, Matt Koiz, and oBoronic, probably some of the more prominent names. Teams that were... they've all really mixed and matched a little bit and played around the scene with each other for a while now, so it really comes as no surprise that these two teams are probably going to be some of the more, I guess, butting head-to-head right now.
Yeah, it's going to be mad fun to watch this one. Excuse me. I think Relevated Gamers is one of the stronger teams to really come out of the challenger scene. They've got the likes of Delny, Jumpa, and Keji over there making waves on their roster as well, so going head-to-head, as you said, should be very interesting. Picks and bans, please, coming at you right now. As far as these two teams are concerned, I don't think there's any picks that are really hotly contested as far as who really needs one pick above the other, but I think that it's going to be very meta. I think we're going to see no Odin. I think we're going to see no Hell. Is there anything that you're expecting to see when we get into picks and bans?
Other than picks and... I mean, as far as the bans are concerned, I'm expecting to see an Odin ban, a Scotty ban, a Hell ban. It's just very standard across the board. It's really the picks where I want to see if these two teams are going to opt for the same kind of warrior-heavy compositions that we just saw in the previous match, where it seemed as though Erlang Shen has really been a hot flavor of the weekend so far. I mean, over in EU yesterday, he was a pretty popular pick, and already he's been played today from NA, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more out of him.
So the Ravana is going to be banned out. This guy is very strong, 40% damage reduction. Ouch. So the final ban for SB is going to be the Scotty that you were talking about. So first pick over there for Relevated Gamers. IMOM?
IMOM is their in-game clan tag, but
what do you think it stands for?
I don't want to know, personally.
In memory of Michael Checo. Terra will be the first selection here as far as the Guardian is concerned. And, well, she could find her way into the solo lane. But across the way, the King of the Monkeys, one of my favorite characters to hate, Sun Wukong. He is almost unkillable, and similar to Kronos, has that ultimate that gets him out of jail.
We actually didn't get a chance to see Kronos in today's earlier match, but I'm really excited seeing Kronos be picked right now because he has so much potency in either the mid lane or the ADC role. He's a relatively safe guy, and all around, this guy is just so incredibly strong with his poke potential. Yeah,
that the low cooldown on Time Rift is really devastating if used the right way. Thor and Thoth, the two guys going to make up the middle and the jungle lane over there for Relevated Gamers. This is one of the tried and true combinations, whether it's this god or not. Thor comes out of the sky and Mage hits whoever's stunned. That's going to be really problematic for the middle laner, whether it's Kronos or otherwise. But as we move out of the lane phase and into the team fight phase, Geb's going to be really powerful for Strictly Business.
This is still a little bit of a double-edged sword, though, with the Geb pickup. Sure, you have a lot of sustain or survivability with the Geb cleanse on the shield, but it could also work against you because Geb is very punishable in the early game stage, and having Terra, Thor, Thoth, that's 3 gods already with some pretty heavy CC. Sure. Very easy to lock down and kill a Geb off cooldown.
Yeah, sure, you say that, but I think Geb is, if you get out of that early game, that mid game, then he really pays off, and I think that's really what SB is counting on. Hebo going to be banned out as Paul.
I love it. No, I absolutely love
oBoronic.
It's still a great ban, in my opinion, banning out that Hebo, and we know it's not going to be the Kronos actually banned out from Strictly Business, considering that they've already picked him up. But I do have to absolutely fall in love with the choices that they are making to eliminate the Hebo because there's so much burst potential, and Hebo is an excellent pick against a Thoth. Maybe not so much against Thor, considering that he's immune to that knockup, but it's still just it packs so much of a punch. He's known as the god with 3 ultimates for a reason.
And specifically, oBoronic, I joke about Paul being the Hebo player, but oBoronic plays just as much, if not more, Hebo. So the Habwa, as we like to say, is going to be banned out against Strictly Business. They do go the Goat Man. Karnanos will be the selection by Strictly Business. And then Sobek and Ram will make up likely that long lane. I think we'll see the solo Terra.
I'm not sure anybody can play more Hebo than Paul, though.
Yeah.
I will say that much. But I'm liking the pickups, though, from Strictly Business, opting for the Kerninos to box off against the Rom. This is a really smart decision. I think that it provides a little bit of that early game presence that you would want pairing alongside of the Geb, although it could be Kern in the mid lane and Kronos to that ADC role. I'm anticipating it to be the other way around.
Yeah, I'd like to see Kronos in the mid lane, and that's exactly what we won't see. Fatal Ghost. The old tendencies come out. Fatal Ghost does like himself a Kronos, and so that's what we'll see. Picking up the Bumba's masks to allow him to, I guess, just have that sustain, because you don't really get those the Devo gloves that our hunters like to see, which I expect to see on the ROM.
Well, either way, it's still going to be a pretty difficult lane then from the early stages. And Inbound going a little bit deep here, trying to stack up his own creep wave. He's looking to delay when their creeps are going to arrive to the lane. And this will affect the way that the buff timers are concerned. It's just a mini
That's
delay.
interesting.
It prevents the creeps from dying all at once before you get to there, because typically you lose at least one creep by the time you get to the laning phase. And so hopefully with this being at a slight delay, they might be able to make it in time.
I actually really like that. I want to see how it works out for them. Red buff is going to go down here, and it looks like they've lost probably about one. They have to skip the purple if they want to go ahead and get that whole wave, but they're not going to do that. So the delay seems to be of no avail. They've lost all three creeps, and they have the 3 archers available. So pretty much the same situation as if he had not done that, but I like the effort at least.
I think it's Thoth that counts. I think they just wanted to maybe throw us for a loop, if anything.
I wonder what the next step for that is, if you can actually make that work and have a bigger delay. If you skip the purple buff, you actually do save yourself a minion, I think.
I think you do, but they wanted to drop both of those buffs, seeing that Strictly Business had done the same. And it actually kind of worked against them a little bit, though, because Fatal Ghost and Matt Koiz now have the lane pressure as a Geb Kronos versus Terra and Rom.
I think it's a wash now. I mean, you look at the situation here, and everything's all good.
But they were able to secure the oracles, and that's what matters, because they're going to hit level 5 slightly ahead of the dual lane from Keji and Inbound.
So we'll see how these guys work out, if that's going to be of consequence or not. Across the map, though, Relevated Gamers, otherwise known as Memory of Michael, is able to secure the left side Harpies and a couple of the neutral camps as well. Keji going to get stunned here, not get hit by the follow-up damage, however, as Matt Koiz is being focused by Terra, the support. Keji also shoved a couple of shots into the back.
Kind of standard gameplay all around, typical aggression that you'd expect once the waves have been poked out, and both sides are really just looking to try and poke out each other. And it doesn't really make too much of a difference as long as you don't fall to around a 30% health threshold. And Keji shouldn't be at that kind of an issue, considering that he's got the Terra sustain. Same could be said, but same might not be said for Jumbo, who's actually in a whole lot of trouble now. Ultimate coming out from Jarman.
There it is.
But the shell.
The shell saves the day. The ultimate allowed a little bit of tower dive there. Jumbo stayed just a little bit too long, doesn't get punished for it. Very low is the Thor player, and he'll have to head back to base. Wonderful play coming out from Ryan Jarman, otherwise known as Niquid, renamed, but certainly a strong play coming out from him.
And you have to appreciate the someone calling mindset there.
Nice
Keji's
play.
looking to go in to Ghost. Inbound able to find a great route, but that stun is going to come up clutch for getting Fatal Ghost from more in-hand damage.
So Keji could have used the beads to avoid that scenario. With your knowledge of Rom, does he get the kill if he completely avoids the stun?
No.
Smart play not to use the beads then.
If he's level 5, maybe, but he's not 5, so that isn't something that you want to burn out, especially knowing that you're against a Thor jungle. And Thor jungle, you never really know when he's going to try and pop you on the noggin.
Yeah, it's always problematic, and with no vision, you definitely have to be a little bit careful. You see, remember, Michael, no blue wards on the left side of the map, so because of that, they're kind of flying blind. They know that the Thor was they know that the jungler was in trouble on the right side, so they don't have to worry about getting surprised by Reminisct anytime soon, but even still, something to think about.
Fatal Ghost just trying to solo farm his purple buff, get a little bit of sustain back from his Boombas. And it is going to be Keji and inbound. They finally decided to push that wave, stopped freezing out the experience from the Chronos. So that's going to work in Fiddlego's favor. But this could be a little bit of a tricky situation for JoltaK. He's going to be losing his speed buff to Reminisst.
And I expect to see that a lot of the time here. Strictly Business is known for their sort of map dominance like that. When it comes down to what Reminisst is able to do with this Susanoo, I think he's going to really control the battlefield as far as just being a little bit more mobile than JoltaK.
And that's going to kind of, it could work both ways because Susanoo can get from one end of the map from his abilities, but the same thing can happen with a Thor. You never really know when a Thor is going to shake up a team fight with that pretty much semi-global ultimate.
See, what it comes down to for me is that Thor's able to surprise you in the team fight with that big ultimate, but he's not using his hammer to traverse the map very quickly. Whereas Reminisst on the Susanoo, he's going to be able to just move faster than you. And so when it comes down to surprise him in the team fight, Thor gets the upper hand. But as far as just running around and stealing buffs and being annoying, that's where Susanoo kind of reigns supreme.
Haven't seen too much out of Susanoo either since his nerf. His passive was effective in where he no longer gets that bonus movement speed. So it's kind of interesting to see just how Reminisst is planning on utilizing the Susanoo despite that having been a factor. And so far, so good. Both of these teams kind of the same story as the previous match where kind of just looking to get a feel from each other. And of course, Relevated Gamers are really just trying to ensure that their early game is as safe as possible. Having a Sobek in the solo lane is not necessarily the screaming pressure.
You know, I actually, I kind of like stepping away from the game for a moment, just talking about Susanoo in general. I kind of like where Susanoo's at. Before he was just like, I mean, you got to pick him because he's dope. Now I think you go Susanoo because you're a Susanoo player. We see the people going back to peace. Ooh, Crimson in trouble. The pull's good, but nothing else is good. So Reminisst going to change targets over to the Terra. Nice stun coming out from the Geb, and I love the positioning. Trying to get the body block, but it won't happen. Thor thunks down just to say, what up? And JoltaK walks away.
If the Thoth had been a little bit closer, there might have been some follow-up. Unfortunately from Crimson, he just couldn't get in range in time to look for another stun onto Koiz. So the Geb is going to walk away pretty safely there. Delany and Jarman just kind of doing what solo laners do best.
Yeah, just going, you know, head-to-head, back-to-back, trying to trade out some of that damage. I was wondering when the Terra
I wonder what inspires. I wonder what inspires that kind of a name change.
I mean, so I'm actually a fan of assuming Ryan Jarman is his name. You know, we do have a scenario. So the famous Jeff Hindla of PC fame, his name is actually Rosario Velarde. It's not Jeff Hindla. So assuming that Ryan Jarman is his name, I actually like that. But I don't like name change. Nickwid, we all know Nickwid. We all know Nickwid. He's one of the bigger dudes in this console scene. Change your name, kind of awkward. One more time, a little bit awkward for memory of Michael. Reminisst snatches that speed buff away again. JoltaK has to walk the slow path.
The slowly but surely little experience victories for Strictly Business, and that's going to be kind of difficult for JoltaK to continue dealing with. I mean, he's kind of just been stripped of his side of the map when it comes to farm, but that's just the risk you take when you have a solo Beck.
Yeah, at the same time, solo Beck has been powerful. We saw the sort of role change last game as Delny just barely gets away from the pull. Sobek, the Guardian, started things off and wound up being more of a frontline warrior type player, and then the Erlang Shen wound up being more support. So Sobek is definitely a devastating character.
I'm a fan of what he can provide in a team fight, but I'm sure that JoltaK is not really a fan of not having his buff secure right now. But again, it's just one of those things that I'm sure that they're planning on and expecting to happen. You can tell just by the way that they're not looking to contest that speed buff, that they're perfectly okay with losing it. They'll be able to find the map pressure elsewhere. And right now for JoltaK, that means kind of just lurking around that dual lane side. If he's going to make a play happen, it'll probably be onto that Chronos because Keji is going to need some assistance as far as burning out that ultimate or even just looking to get that all-in kill potential.
Yeah, I really don't mind the loss of the speed buff, and it's not too big of a deal if you look at the two junglers. They're just 200 gold difference between them. But the difference between Delny and Ryan over here is problematic. You're about 11.5 down as far as experience is concerned, and almost a full 1,000 looking at the gold. That's going to be troublesome. You're expecting yourself to be down. But this much, I think, is a stretch.
Sun Wukong's just a lane bully, though, especially against the Sobek. Sobek has such a difficult time clearing out early game. Koiz, however, might not have too difficult of a time with his carries. Looking at that Gold Fury, just being a little cheeky there.
Yeah, very, if we can get it, sure. If we can't, we'll walk away. That's pretty much what they're thinking. Yeah, by no means am I sitting here saying, hey, Delny has to be doing better. I think that's the nature of the pick. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. But, I mean, at what point do you ask for help? At what point does Jumpa need to sit in that lane with you is the question.
Well, speaking of sitting in the lane, looking for something, Koiz able to find Crimson's beads with his blink ult, but now it's Jumpa actually looking to try and counter-engage, but off the mark with the Thor ultimate, not going to find anybody. And Jarman just running through that mid lane, reminding everybody Sun Wukong's here.
Delny is in position to flip Jarman, but doesn't really turn to the right, instead looking to everybody in front of him. Now dealing a little bit of a fight on the right-hand side of the jungle. Reminisct is going to be joining, and Delny intelligently walks out of there. Can't say the same for Jumpa, who's getting in trouble by the Sun Wukong. Nice teleport to the Mjolnir.
That's the speed buff, unless Delny is able to find the steal, but looks like the call here is to not bother contesting yet again. So unfortunate stuff. It's rough stuff if you're a jungler, losing that speed buff. More of a frustration factor than anything, but certainly business again, just poking the bear, seeing what they can get away with. And memory of Michael has no idea. Relevated Gamers absolutely unaware, just thinking that they were purely taking the speed buff and farming out.
Yeah, that is a very good play coming out from Strictly Business. That's the experience that we sort of expect from the defending SCL players trying to stop their spot. And this is exactly where you want to be if you're Strictly Business. You're not even expecting to be here except for perhaps that solo lane. Sun Wukong's going to beat up the Sobek, and that sort of translates to the rest of the team. Like, we've seen these repeated jungle invades, that's sort of allowing Reminisct to really get off to a start. But you have this Kronos mid, you have this Kronos over there in the duo lane. You're just kind of waiting for the late game. I mean, Kronos is building the Transcendence. He's not looking for that early game whatsoever. He just wants to make an impact later on, and Strictly Business with a 3,000-ish gold lead, everything's coming up Millhouse.
I would definitely say that's all in favor of them. And oBoronic, probably on one of the more aggressive early game hunters as well with the Kronos, is definitely a good look against the Thoth, although Relevated Gamers, having that Thoth is still just an absolutely strong backhand kind of slide that a lot of teams might not necessarily anticipate because of that long-range poke capability.
Two players here in the solo lane, kind of what I expected.
And
I thought he was going to poke him. I thought he was going to
I was
stop
waiting
the
for
back.
it too. I think we were both just kind of watching and waiting because that's just what you've come to expect from solo laners. I think that cudgel was still on cooldown for a little bit longer. Otherwise, he might have looked for that one.
Yeah, I mean, especially knowing, like I said, Ryan Jarman renaming from Nickwood, especially knowing that player. He likes to get in your head a little bit, so not going to be this time. Look at that player damage, though. Jarman certainly doing a good job here. Halfway down to the Gold Fury. Jumpa takes to the sky. Koiz still tanking it. Gonna land right on down on top of the gap. The core situation is bad for Jumpa. 25%. And he gets on out of there, but he does his job. And he pushes the players off of the gold.
I'm not sure looking for the connection was really something he wanted to try and follow up with by himself. Cost him his beads, but saving the objective there is a huge lookout for Relevated Gamers. That was a wise decision, I think, by Jumpa, because worst case scenario, he dies, but buys his team still enough time to respond.
I think if the Gold Fury goes to wave SB, you're looking at, what, a 2,000 gold swing, putting you up 5,000, and that's sort of the beginning of the end, I think, for the squad. So Reminisct shows up on the back line. Wall is good, but the Bluestone is one better. Crimson dives to the dot. Delny shows up, plucks him all the way back to the fountain. Big kill for the Crocodile as he takes care of the enemy that took care of his teammate. One more time, the speed buff is being looked at, but looks like the defense this time for IMOM is going to be good.
And I cannot believe that JoltaK is actually going to be able to get away with this one. I was expecting Jarman to try and follow up a little bit more. The speed buff was actually stolen away by Relevated Gamers, so Delany just going to walk over that one and secure it.
Nice play. You know, it's funny that we're at the point where securing your own buff is considered a steal. We've just looked at that as strictly business's speed for the entire game because it just has been. This is the first time all games since the beginning that we've actually seen a speed buff on the correct side. I don't think Delany tried to get the speed buff. He's just trying to defend, but nobody says no to Sonic Sobek.
I mean, being realistic, though, when the enemy team has secured your speed buff 2 iterations, that's basically not your speed buff anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That is Jungle Part 2 for enemy team.
Oh, without a doubt. No, strictly business has just annexed that side of the map, at least with the speed buff in mind, and certainly very happy about it. JoltaK probably not so happy that Delany took it, but at this point, hey man, thanks for just defending it at least.
It happens.
Yeah.
I think that's one of those it happens kind of situations, but
it's like somebody dating your sister. It's like, look, it might as well be a friend, right? Might as well be a friend stealing my speed buff as opposed to the guy on the other team. I think that's what JoltaK is saying right now.
And I'm sure that he's still happy to either way secure that experience at least. Small, but makes a difference. And speaking of making a difference, those Thor hammers are starting to hurt.
Starting to. And it's kind of nice that we're finally there. 15.5 on the clock. We're tied at 1-1 as far as the kills are concerned. But our gold tells a very different tale. Almost 4,000 gold in the lead for strictly business. JoltaK gets pulled in. Reminisst is also a jungler doing a lot of work. Oh, the knockup comes a little bit too early. A lot of times we need to see that knockup saved, but Reminisct is going to get not stunned. Nice backtrack, but the double damage left and right from Rom and the Birdman. Crimson gets the last shot, takes down Reminisct.
Absolutely nowhere to go. That was a beautiful Terra cutoff.
Yeah.
Inbound just left him with no direction to take, and that just leaves such a small area for his carries to work in. Perfect.
I like the play where he had to backstep, but unfortunately, he had a Rob and a Thoth both coalescing on his one position. Fatal Ghost in trouble, pops the Aegis just a little bit early. And Delany able to get the damage off despite being mitigated a little bit by the shield from the Geb. And now team's going to start their Gold Fury dance one more time. Ryan misses the poke, but really not too big of a deal.
Unlucky for JoltaK there. He would have probably been able to find the kill had that double tap actually connected. Instead, he found the wrong side of the wall for the Chronos, and luckily enough for Fatal Ghost, he will get away with only expending his Aegis. And a Chronos is a Chronos. It's still an incredibly difficult god to lock down. He's got beads in his ultimate, and his ult is pretty much an Aegis and beads combined.
Yeah. Hey, let's give a round of applause for JoltaK getting his own speed buff this time around. There it is. Look at that.
It's got to feel good.
Everybody put your foreheads in the chat for JoltaK 21412, securing his speed buff for the #1 time. Oracles go the way of S Business Gaming here. And we're still continuing as Delany heads back to the solo lane and battles against the King of the Monkeys.
Just a shark and a monkey going at it.
Oh, yeah. Just there's a Hindu man comment somewhere in there. He always likes to bring up like the zoo.
The zoo?
Or like the menagerie, whatever the...
You can have a full animal team now in Smite.
Can you?
Yeah. On her, Ganesh. You got the lion, the elephant, Sobek's and crocodile thing.
All right.
Sun Wukong and the Humbots. Double monkey.
I prefer to go the on her, the Aphrodite. I had a good joke. I was going to say the lion, the witch, and the wardrobe, but I don't know what god represents the wardrobe pretty well. We'll just pretend like I'm a
like
good guy.
it was 2/3 of the way there.
Is there a god that represents the wardrobe pretty well? Like a god of clothing, a god of fresh gear.
SwagNii.
Okay.
He's got a skin
all
for
right.
it.
Yo, I'm down.
That's the
on
only
her
thing.
Afro SwagNii, rocking the joust queue. Call it the Narnia team. Done. See you later. I'll accept my royalties on Twitter.
Was that the cam shake and approval? I think so, but It's going to be strictly business getting back to business of this game. And, I mean, Delaney already losing his solo lane tower. Although I shouldn't say already, considering that we're almost 20 minutes in. It's kind of what you anticipate. Sun Wukong is just going to have the lane pressure there. It's all about the team fight that I'm looking out for as far as Relevated Gamers are concerned.
500 gold for a tier 1 tower on the solo lane side at 19 minutes. Drop in the bucket. I don't really think that's anything to really be concerned about, even if you're in memory of Michael, like on the bad side of things. This is what you got to be concerned about. The ultimate coming out, knocking up the Terra. She's very low. Ram takes to the sky, putting Reminisct in the ground. One more shot, but oBoronic gets the shield. Well done. Crimson finishes what Kenji started, taking down that Koiz. Knockup is important because Delny's coming. The pluck is stopped by Jarman. And what could have been a kill against oBoronic will not wind up that way. But all the while, Memory of Michael takes what Delny started, takes the zone, and says, thank you. We'll take down the objective, shortening their deficit to just about 2K.
That's all that Delaney wanted to do. He just wanted to be that nuisance, stopping Nickwood or Jarman from getting into his own team, because they're all relatively low, and now the portal's even rushed. There's more than enough damage available. That is, again, going to go down for Memory of Michael, and those are already two pretty massive objective secures.
Very important plays there. I think we're looking at a 1,500 gold lead from what was creeping towards 5K. For strictly business. Very important sequence for In Memory of Michael, not just because of the gold, but also when you're looking at these challengers. Keep in mind, strictly business, the team in the Pro League, and Memory of Michael, the team coming up trying to challenge and take their spot. We're not just looking at the actual performance. We want to see how these teams will compete against the better competition. And I mean, it was Starboys who kind of stuttered and took I think, a smaller objective instead of sweeping the whole board, taking the advantage that just one small window is open. Delny's zoned 3 different players, allowing them to get gold. Why stop there? Continue on, get as many objectives as you possibly can. Memory of Michael, I like what I'm seeing. 4-1, just underneath 21 minutes. They're still trailing Taco, but they're doing the right things.
And for me, it's all Crimson. If he keeps finding those Thoth ultimates that just come flying out of nowhere onto strictly business, they're just not going to be able to contest these big team fights. It just makes it all too easy. And having the Ram, especially Keji, immediately going up into the air as soon as he saw that connect to look for the cleanup kills afterwards. I mean, he didn't just find the kill on the Terra, he also managed to find the Aegis of the Kern.
Yeah, for me, I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of Keji and Delny. I think Delny is playing this warrior Sobek exactly the way he's supposed to. He's dealing some damage, but he's just zoning people out the way you would expect any other traditional solo laner to really do the work. And then Keji, I mean, he's on point. He's hitting the players he needs to. He's securing those kills that the damage is being started from the mid lane. And, you know, even Jumpa, I'm not a fan of this Heartseeker because of what I'm going to say here. Jumpa is a facilitator here in this game. Thor can be a carry. Well, he's second on the damage, so maybe I'm going to eat my words here. But really what I'm seeing is the setup coming out from Thor. So, you know what? When you actually look at the numbers, sometimes these players are deceptive. And I guess I'll eat that Heartseeker. Keep going, buddy. Carry us to victory.
He's dealing a solid amount of damage, but I get what you're trying to say there, where you want to see a little bit more utility-based out of him as opposed to maybe trying to be that hard carry factor, which is understandable. You have the Thoth, you have the Ram. The mindset here might be so that he can help assist his team with eating through the Geb Shield damage.
He hasn't paid for it yet, but I worry that as the game goes on, he's going to pay for it, and that's the initiation coming out from Jumpa. The trigger will be stopped as he goes ahead and gets a couple of beads, most notably Fatal Ghosts. Delny's going to miss the pluck, which could have spelled curtains for Reminisst. Oh, but that's a beautiful wall coming out from Jumpa. Jarman forced into the ultimate, could not get to the other side. Unlike the chicken.
Delany's just waiting for these plucks. I know, but I'm letting it, I'm just
in memory of Michael now, looking for the counter aggression now. Knowing that Ghost's beads are on cooldown, that's a really big deal for Kronos not to have the ability to get out of jail when it comes down to that type of crowd control. Trouble for the Terra. She's got to walk on the back line. oBoronic is on the line, but it's a miss. That's not going to be on the target for the Thoth guy. Instead, Jumpa's the first one to fall. Reminisct gets credit for it. Delny narrowly avoids the stun, but Kedji's in the air, and he gets Matt Koiz all the way in the back line. That's a big play. Matt Koiz dishing out these shields, so important for what Strictly Business wants to do. As Kedji takes down the support, there's really nothing for them to grab. So it was just kind of a bonus they were able to take him down, I suppose.
Poor Matt Koiz. I mean, your focus is ideally trying to peel for your teammates, and he's doing an excellent job at that, but being the casualty of war, to say, just when you use the Geb shield on everybody else but yourself, you're the only one left open. And
I mean, he's making the right plays.
Kedji just had the mark on him.
He's making the right plays. Kedji absolutely making an impact here. But still, memory of Michael, despite the Rom's accuracy, trailing by 3,000 gold now. Portal Demon coming up very soon, as will the Gold Fury. In fact, it spawns just about now. Both teams need to be aware of that.
And Fatal Gozo is certainly somebody I want to keep an eye on, because we are approaching late game Chronos. It's starting to flirt around with that, even though it's only about 25 minutes into the game. Right around the 30-minute mark, I mean, you've got the Chronos with his passive stacking additional magical power, because the longer a match goes on, the more effective this god is. And so realistically, and he's got the Hasten Ring online, you just can never really count out on a team fight whenever he's lurking around.
Fatal Ghost certainly has been putting up the numbers so far. Sitting about halfway on the player damage charts. But he's been making it count in these team fights. He's getting the right slows on players. Jumpa. It's going to be a very loud ultimate. And it's going to send everybody walking the other way. So Jumpa opts to use his ultimate on the left side. But again, these are the effects that Thor can have in a game without actually impacting anything. That ult saves that objective without him landing, without him saying hi. Just what goes up? Satellite ult.
I'm not entirely certain, but it almost sounded as though the Terra ultimate had been popped at the same time. Yeah. And so losing two pretty much global ultis for nothing, I mean, Strictly Business has got to keep this in mind, and Gold Fury is off, so immediately they're just looking right at it, and the shred damage on this objective is insane.
No hesitation, wonderful play. Strictly Business get their Gold Fury just because of their confidence. If Jumpa's ultimate goes down to save the Portal Demon, that's a fine call. But I think the Terra ultimate on top of everything is what made Strictly Business pull the trigger, go for that Gold Fury. And that's, we were talking about the experience being shown by memory of Michael going for the double objective earlier on. I think that's the inexperience, going for the double ultimate at this point in time. They're going to try and pull the Portal Demon here, Taco, but I'm not sure how successful this is going to go.
Not the only one getting pulled. Matt Koiz actually got pulled by Delny on that backside, but Jumpa in a little bit of trouble over here. Crimson's got his eyes onto Jarman, but the Chronos time rift is good.
Jumpa gets his ultimate off one more time. Where's he going to land? Probably aggressively, Taco. And it is so, taking down his direct opposition in Reminisst. Delny lurking in the waters looking for the kill, but oBoronic falls before he even pops up. Wonderful stun by the Chronos right in front after the rewind. Delny dodges the stun.
The immunity frame from the Sobek just saved his life off of that time rift, and now Fatal Ghost trying to get away. Matt Koiz has the same mentality. Inbounds Terra ultimate, not going to be able to close that gap, but the beads are still forced out from Ghost, looking for Crimson. Jumpa just trying to get damage off onto anyone.
Oh, the Sun Wukong ult comes up again. Nut stuff. Nut stuff. Memory of Michael. I don't think anybody really wins that team fight, but memory of Michael come out on top here. I guess they do. It's on
Delny wins that. Delny wins that team fight with that Sobek pluck. I'm not sure if that was intentional or him just trying to get the Chronos away from him, but it worked out.
I'm going to go ahead and say Delny did that on purpose. I think that was, knowing how Delny works, he knows the in and outs, at least of Sobek. I'm not going to talk about, I don't know if he knows any of the characters very well. But you give Delny a Sobek or a Sun Wukong, he kind of knows what's going on with those guys. And you know what, forgetting about that one, whether it's luck of the draw or not, I love the way he heard, because he was facing away from the Chronos. He dodged the time stop, the slow, the stun, just by audio cue, and then goes for it. So that was kind of fun to see as well. Strictly Business. They don't get the Portal Demon, but they do get the Gold Fury a couple of minutes earlier which is the more important objective at the end of the day. Very exciting stuff coming out from Memory of Michael, but it all seems to be at the wrong time.
That does seem to be their downfall here. I mean, the score as far as kills are concerned, 7-2. Normally, you'd look at the gold and XP and expect it to reflect that, but so far it's been pretty even. It's strictly business. I mean, they're up in gold. Farm is kind of basically just stalemated between these two teams, but it's really just that strictly business have been able to find more important objectives off of the team fights that they have managed to get the upper hand. And so that's going to come in pretty crucial here for that team. But the concern is, can they keep winning these team fights through the fire giant dances? That's going to be the real concern that I have here. And Reminisst is starting to take a decent bit of poke. Crimson really chunking away on this Thoth.
Reminisst getting lucky there. If Jumpa finds a good wall, yeesh. I don't know where that Susano is going.
Jumpa really just looking for anything, kind of just been lurking. This is the part of the game where Thor, you're not really sure which direction to expect him from, and wards are probably your best friends.
And we see a lot of wards coming out. You can see Sentry directly on the Fire Giant and on the safe side for strictly business. And then even on the left side of the map, a little bit of vision as well, coming out from the guys on SB. Delny winning the ward war over there, it seems. So Memory of Michael currently have vision of the Fire Giant.
And you see Jumpa, he really wants to go in onto Fatal Ghost, I believe, but just going to head back over to the mid lane. That's classic Delny right there.
Delny just giving the Sun Wukong a little what it's for. Like that one.
I really want to see Jumpa look to just try and all-in Fatal Ghost. However, he's going up into the air now, but it might be right on top of that ward coverage. Fatal Ghost on the run right now, but he's going to be just fine thanks to that, thanks to his second ability, getting him out of danger with that increased movement speed. Terra ultimate popped. Unable to find anything, though.
Last time, Memory of Michael popped 2 ultimates for seemingly no reason. Strictly Business ran directly to the Gold Fury and just kind of took it. Well, the Gold Fury going to be spawning right about now. And Strictly Business are in front of it. They're going to return. And they're going to pull it. And there's Fatal Ghost starting things off. Inboned is here. He's ready. But, ooh, playing it safe here, Strictly Business. They know the Terra and the Jumpa ultimate are down, but not really going for it.
It's Keji. Keji is enough to dissuade people from trying to stay hovering around those objectives. He has that Deathbringer online. Combine that with the Poison Star, and that's a lot of crit. Not to mention the passive of Poison Star slows the enemy team, so this could be a really tricky team fight. And Delny already forced the ultimate, taking a lot of damage from Strictly Business.
Yeah, luckily he has a little bit of help by way of the shell. There's going to be the Sun Wukong decoy getting destroyed. And Delny's out of the fight. He's going to go head back to base. Jumpa lands down on nobody in particular, but a big wall coming out from the Thor player, separating the team from the objective. Keji dealing out these basics again, not really finding a home. Inbound is going to go down to the hand of the Sun Wukong. And Keji is really the only threat, but he's just a threat. He's not actually landing anything on these players.
The final judgment was on point, but unfortunately it was only onto the Kern, so oBoronic's going to be just fine, taken down to half HP, but as a Kern, he doesn't have any lifesteal available in his kit, but he has the Geb shields and still plenty of damage to assist his team in trying to secure this Gold Fury.
There's going to be a knockup and trying to get Keji in trouble as he uses his relics. Another secondary knockup coming out from Reminisc's ultimate, but just to really zone. Delny looking for the flank, and he's going to avoid some damage for the moment. But it's one versus the world. He's got a little bit of help from Crimson through the wall, but Delny ultimately, oh, Jumpa, that's in the wrong spot. Aegis is forced, and the Terra ultimate comes out to save the jungler. Delny on the back line with lurking in the waters. Big damage coming out when he pops up, but he's on 2 of the tanks. Oh, it's oBoronic, but here comes Jumpa, and it's successful. 1-2 punch from Delny, and Jumpa takes down Matt Koiz.
This team fight has been stretched out for so long that it's actually starting to swing back into the Memory of Michael's favor. And so instead of being able to lock down this Gold Fury, Strictly Business unable to do anything except watch their support fall to Jumpa.
Yeah, look on the right side. Reminiscent is here, and Delny sniffs him out. Well, ultimate being warmed up by Crimson, canceled one more time. Jarman takes 3 shots from the Thoth, but now Inbone is in trouble again, falls down. Big money coming out from the Thoth, and Jumpa's cashing that check. Ryan Jarman goes down one more time, 3-1-3 for Jumpa the jungler. And Memory of Michael have 4 players alive, comparatively speaking to the 3 of Strictly Business, and that'll allow them to start the Gold Fury.
And it's going to be Jumpa looking to go in again, but taking way too much damage from Reminisst on that Susano. Tornado is going to clean him up. oBoronic trying to prevent this Gold Fury from going down. Delaney hit by the Wild Hunt, just turned into a Borv temporarily, getting out of dodge, but
what?
Keji right off the money.
Keji was super accurate all game. I guess he doesn't have the vision there. Just blind shots looking for the Hunter, can't find it. And Fatal Ghost gonna try his luck here.
These teams have been trying to do this for so long, and
Crimson is here.
He's
Crimson
waiting.
Is here. Crimson is here through the wall a little bit too early, but it forces the players off of the objective.
I'm surprised Keji doesn't keep that leash, because they would have secured that, I believe. Memory of Michael had the favor for the secure. You've got Crimson to follow it up with his stun, if anything, as that little tick of damage that he needed. Plus, Keji is not going to really lose too much. He's got Devos and crit.
That's
they probably could have
the right call. That's,
secured that.
Yeah, I think
better safe than sorry, but
I suppose. I don't know. I think that's the call you make, especially after investing 6 minutes into a team fight. It's now 35 minutes. We started that fight at 29.
These teams have just really been going at it, but it seems as though they had other priorities in mind. This is what it's all about, strictly business. No one has any idea until right then and there. Fire Daddy Q sound. Just letting everybody on the map know what's really going on.
Memory of Michael are just so mad. Here's what the comms sound like. Really? Really? Okay. Down goes oBoronic as he tries to smell around the Gold Fury. So his Fire Giant is gone. Matt Koiz's Fire Giant is gone. Delny tosses the extra taunt right on top, but Fatal Ghost goes right to business as his team name implies, taking down the entirety of the right side lane. Tier 1 already down, heading directly to the Tier 2. And onto the Phoenix.
But it's a sprint.
They're going to get collapsed on.
Reminisst, I'm not sure this is a fight that they really want to take.
They don't.
This is, I don't know if it's a fight that Jumpa wants to really look for. Reminisst getting
He's
away
so
with
gone.
the blink, but Jarman in a little bit of danger now, trying to deal with 2. Reminisst, however, he didn't get away from Keji. Keji up into the air with the snipes.
Got him! The way he read that movement, Reminisst goes down. Keji on point. We call him Ronald Pwant.
What could have been a really strong play for Strictly Business. I mean, that was such a solid Fire Giant secure, and then 3 members basically killed themselves right after.
Yeah, I mean, sniffing out that Gold Fury, just let it go. Just let it go. It's 2K in a world where you're going to get 1,500 for every Tier 2 you take with that Fire Giant. I think that was objectively the wrong call. Because of it, Strictly Business are paying dearly. Crimson gets his life saved by his jungler. Keji trying to deal with the entirety of Strictly Business here. And Inbone finally going to dash away from Ryan Jarman.
That could have been a lot worse for Crimson. I feel as though Jarman could have probably committed there and found the kill, but he didn't want to trade himself out because of how much of an impact he tends to have. And Matt Koiz with that nice...
The Koiz is back in town.
The steal. He's sliding in to more than just everybody's DMs.
Tier 1 tower on the left side being assaulted here. Matt Koiz going to take up the damage, and 500 gold goes in the pocket. 37 minutes in here, folks. My Memory of Michael leading in the kills, and they might have a little bit of momentum despite the fact that they just lost the Tier 1 tower. But strictly speaking, the gold is in the business of Strictly, or in the way of Strictly Business, excuse me. 3,000 gold, 3,800 to be a little bit more specific. But as I said, the wind kind of in the sails of Memory of Michael. Strictly Business take out that Fire Giant, and they don't really have anything to show for it.
No, they got a T2 tower, and unfortunately, what should have probably been every single tower on the map at least,
yeah,
like I said, or like we've mentioned, was just unable to really come to fruition. Just quite unfortunate. I think that Koiz was trying to back up his mid laner when oBoronic was looking for that potential steal on the Gold Fury, and as a result, both of them got caught out. Reminisst then tries to buy time for his team to potentially look for that Phoenix split push. That was unable to connect in the way that they would have imagined, and so things are pretty much back to where they've been this entire time, where Strictly Business are trailing, or they're ahead slightly as far as gold is concerned, but when it's almost 40 minutes into a game, gold is basically irrelevant.
Yeah, we're seeing the final items being finished up here. Even our support players are almost there. And speaking of the support players itemization, I want to shout out Koiz for buying the under-purchased Relic Dagger. When you have Blink and Shell, you want those up as much as possible. Just as important as ultimates, perhaps even the Blink specifically, because you want that on the same cooldown. That's going to give you some relevant stats by way of cooldown reduction and HP. Nice health on that, but also it's going to lower the cooldown of your relics, something no other item can do.
You see that damage from Fatal goes onto Downey, and that's basically a tank Sobek.
Oh yeah, it is.
For the most part. He has got a lot, 6 stacks into his Urchin as well, so it's not like he's easy to poke at, but it's starting to look like it when Kronos is approaching this late of a game.
Another smart item coming out, this time on the Sobek, is the Midgardian Mail. You've got Reminisst, oBoronic, and the Kronos player all looking to basic attack you, and it's going to slow him down. It's going to keep him sort of at bay. I like the Midgardian Mail coming out from the Sobek.
My primary concern is for Crimson. He's really the main target, I would say, for Strictly Business right now, because if that Thoth ultimate connects, they know that the team fight's probably lost. So what I'm imagining is going to continue to happen is it's either going to be Jarman or Reminisst looking to sneak into that back line and force out the actives, if not his life, because if they can find the kill onto Crimson, just in memory of Michael, lose so much poke potential.
Well, luckily for Crimson, he's a Thoth, which means he gets to stay back further than most other players.
And Reminisst found a kill. It wasn't onto Crimson, but it was onto Jumpa, who might have been... He might have just been looking to try and defend that Portal Demon, but this is going to go down to Strictly Business.
That's bad.
So much pressure
That's
already.
bad. Losing your Thor at a point where you have to defend the objectives. He's down for 50 seconds. That's a really bad look. I don't know if he was trying to clear wards, ward himself, but you cannot be out of position that poorly at 40 minutes. It's going to open the door for the Portal Demon, and now the Fire Giant Senior. Look at this, 49% already on FG. And Strictly Business take their attention away, and then one more time reassess. And just these 2 damage dealers alone can take down the objective while everybody else deals with the team in front. Look at this, Ryan Jarman just playing with memory of Michael. That
Almost. I mean, that's all that they needed was the Sun Wukong to play pressure factor. They can't get past him, and Koiz was also there as the fallback plan just in case. Not only did he have the shield for Jarman, but I mean, trying to breach through a Geb as well with that Cataclysm, it's not going to cost Koiz but a second to stop that entire team or burn out their actives. Gold Fury going to fall to Strictly Business, and that'll be their second one in this game, but like we've already mentioned, gold not really too important at this stage of the game. You're looking for towers, that's all they're going to do. These will fall down briefly. It's just Kronos is insane.
So unfortunate. So unfortunate. In memory of Michael, now this is, or excuse me, Strictly Business, this is the way you're supposed to use a Fire Giant. Clean up the map, take down the towers. That's 1,500 for the left, 1,500 for the mid, 3,000 in total, pushing them even further in the lead. Now trying to figure out which Phoenix they want to go to.
You don't think that Strictly Business are going to be making the same mistake twice. They made it once before where their team members just got picked off. oBoronic kind of flirting with disaster. Split pushing.
I like the idea from SB. You see what they did? They have 3 in the mid lane, and then they fan out. They have Reminisst on the left side and then oBoronic on the right. And they're going to split push to make sure all 3 waves are pushed up. If either of their split pushers get in trouble, they can easily traverse and help them out by way of this corridor. You see Fatal Ghost and oBoronic going down. Looks like trouble for Reminisst. He teleports into the wall. That's not good. And Keji takes care of him. He teleports into the wall. He teleports into the wall. Memory of Michael now trying to combat it. Nice ultimate coming out from Matt Koiz, and the chase is on. Fatal Ghost is in trouble.
That final judgment just a little bit short, and so Jarman's going to turn it around onto Jumpa, but Delaney able to clean up the Chronos, leaving only oBoronic as the hard source of damage carry, but Crimson able to find Matt Koiz no problem.
Again, Delaney with the great play, setting up the kill onto the Geb, coming out from Crimson. I like that play out of Keji. And the flip is good. The shots are stronger. Crimson secures it. Strictly Business getting wiped again. Memory of Michael showing the defensive prowess.
Look at that damage output from Keji and Crimson.
Yep.
Those two are top of the charts by 5K. And the next after them is...
Sonic Sobek.
It's not that. It's the Sun Wukong. There is not a lot of damage output coming from Strictly Business, or at least not as much as there should be in a 44-minute game.
You expect the Chronos and the Kerninos to be so much higher. The Susano, sure, maybe he does his damage early and he becomes a setup god later, but the Chronos and the Kerninos at this point have to be stronger. 45 minutes in, and Memory of Michael are the team with the first Phoenix. That is not the way that this...
They traded out Phoenixes at the very least.
The mid Phoenix went down. I didn't see that one, so my apologies. I do give that one back to Strictly Business because I was just about to be incredulous at how this game has belonged to SB the entire time, and Memory of Michael the first one to strike. And very important that SB goes ahead and takes the mid Phoenix, and that's why we see Memory of Michael choose that mid Phoenix specifically. We're going to see those fire minions meet up to each other, and they're going to sort of cancel out.
For me, that's Reminisst getting picked. If Reminisst doesn't get picked there, trying to strafe off by himself and look to... I'm guessing he was trying to force actives off of Keji. I mean, that's still a really important aspect to look for as a Susano. You have that pull-in ability, which permits you to really catch somebody off guard, but when you're going up against a late-game ROM with triple crit, you just can't have those little mistakes because they lead into big opportunities for the enemy team.
I mean, it's been the story of the junglers out of position. Jumpa dies, so SB goes ahead and they were able to get the Fire Giant and do everything with it, and then they push up all these waves, and Reminisst is out of position, so in Memory of Michael are able to come through and take care of everybody on SB. It's corral your junglers! Get your junglers in the right spot! And we'll see somebody come out on top here. Portal Demon deleted by the guys on SB one more time.
This damage output is absolutely insane right now.
On objectives.
And Jumpa actually choosing to go in there onto Matt Koiz. Geb Shield Cleanse is going to be enough to get him away from that one, but it seems as though Memory of Michael is trying to set up around this Portal Demon, get a little bit of damage output onto Matt Koiz should he teleport back through.
He does, and he blinks forward as well. Keji gets his beads removed and rolls forward. Look at the back line. There's going to be Fatal Ghost wrapping around and looking for Keji. Strong Aegis, and Ghost is deleted. Crimson with the big boy damage.
And that is all that he needed to hit. And Delaney now taking a little bit of poke from oBoronic, but Keji off the mark, unable to connect with Reminisst. I saw him running away as Susana. That could be a hard one to lock down, but that is a big kill for a Memory of Michael, finding Fatal Ghost on that backside.
Yeah, Fatal Ghost had a strong flank, but sort of flanked himself there.
He didn't have a chance to go into the rewind either. I'm pretty sure that he just died with his ultimate still available, which is a rather unfortunate outcome for his team.
Fire Giant going to be flirted with by a Memory of Michael as they have the numbers advantage for another 30 seconds. Fatal Ghost still on the bench. Nice stun after the fact, and the big Geb shield allows Matt Koiz to get out of there, and in the hay fight, you see Jumpa go down. oBoronic is going to fall down as well, though. Delaney with another good kill. 4-0 and 10 for the solo Sonic Sobek. Reminisst just trying to get himself known. But he knows if he goes too far, he's just going to be crowd controlled and locked down the way his support was.
They're just trying to put a little bit of facial pressure onto Strictly Business, or excuse me, Reminisst is trying to put it onto Memory of Michael, really trying to deter them from doing this Fire Giant, and now with the Fire Giant still swinging away onto Delaney, everybody's trying to get out of the middle, but Memory of Michael are still able to secure that FG as Delaney keeps trying to zone out the rest of Strictly Business. Just too much damage output from that Thoth ROM.
That was a really gutsy is the word I'm looking for. That was a really gutsy call coming out from In Memory of Michael. they understood that there was a threat of stealing that Fire Giant on the way of Strictly Business, but they also trusted in their own team to secure that objective. I think that goes to memory of Michael 9 times out of 10, but there was that 1% chance, that 10% chance that SB go ahead and take it, and in memory of Michael stuck to their guns. That is a big play.
I think for me, it's really been, oBoronic hasn't been playing this Carninos poorly by any means. He's been finding the lockdown kills where he needs to and helping his team with the setup. It's just that it doesn't seem to have as much of an effect as what he could possibly have found with a Vulcan, so to say, or just any other mage with massive burst kill potential. I think that's what Strictly Business is really missing right now. You've got the Chronos, but it's putting so much pressure onto Fatal Ghost, because as soon as he gets CC'd and locked down, everybody turns. As soon as Fatal Ghost shows up somewhere, the whole team is there.
And it's not even just, it's not just the idea that this character, the Carninos, in comparison to the mages, it's also the way that oBoronic plays mages. He's one of the better mid laners when it comes. Rock that Vulcan! oBoronic's Vulcan is out of his mind. I mean, he got a Hebo banned against him, right? You have a skill set. Use it. The Carninos, that last team fight was actually really big. I wouldn't be surprised if Carninos was number 3 or number 4 on player damage after that team fight. There it is. He's number 4 when before he was all the way down with the Chronos. One team fight completely turns it around.
But this is still such a lack of damage from Fatal Ghost. 21,000, almost 50 minutes in from a Chronos is abysmal. He is having a rough time working his way around that back line, which just goes to show that there's been a ton of peel from memory of Michael.
Right now, the siege by memory of Michael. Being careful here. Nobody wants to go too far. 50 minutes on the clock. 18-8. Strictly Business has ran this game almost from minute 1, Taco. And here, memory of Michael on the front door, ready to kick it down and search for loot.
Hopefully this time, I mean, it could really go either way. Strictly Business, they've been held off by a memory of Michael, but Michael has to respect Strictly Business's front line.
Jumpa in the sky. There's the Terra ultimate. All in. There's Jarman to the front side of the ultimate coming out from mid lane. Thoth not going to be as impactful as it has been so far. The basic attacks, however, bring Jarman down into the ultimate. Phoenix still alive, taken down by a basic out of Thoth one more time. I love the fact that even when Crimson is missing the ultimate, he's still making an impact on the team fight.
He's still following up immediately after, looking for the stuns, looking for the Thoth, max range poke potential with that first ability, and that's really, his walls have been on point for where he wants to extend his range towards, as well as providing maximum damage for Keji's auto attacks too. Yeah, the Hieroglyphic Assault does a ton of damage, even into that Sun Wukong, and then finishes it off with the basic, forcing him into the ultimate. And the ultimate, we always like to complain, it gives Sun Wukong an extra life, but in that moment, he's not doing anything. He's got to sit in that cloud and heal up, and if he's not able to do anything, that means there's nobody disrupting that back line. Down goes the Phoenix for the second time in the middle lane, and the 2 towers on the right side go down. Jumpa starting the party on the Portal Demon here. And again, like I said, this game belonged to Strictly Business the entire time up until maybe 5-7 minutes ago. And this looks like it's IMOMs all the way home. I still don't think that Emery and Michael are completely out of the fire just yet. You don't think so? This is still an incredibly potent late game draft from Strictly Business. All they really need is one poke. They've just been having such a tough time trying to work and find that Thoth. Delany has been an absolute nuisance as far as preventing anybody from going near his Thoth, which is incredible because he's also been so far forward the entire time as well, but just whenever he starts to slip out and away from the team fight, you've got the Terra following up immediately after that massive AoE root, plus a little bit of sustain should she not dash through it. It's just, there's a lot of different possibilities for Michael's draft to work out, and Strictly Business just are trying to find the one hole that they need to poke through it. Everybody on the map, everybody in the stands, everybody at home knows that Fire Giant's the next call. In memory of Michael here, Fire Giant spawned up. And it's going to be punched by Inbone. Hey guys, shoot this already, please. Matt Koiz is here, very important to keep him in combat so that he can't blink on top of everybody. Below half HP, peeled off, looking for damage on the Jarman.
He's going to be going right up into that ultimate. Down comes Jumpa on the back line, forcing the beads out of Fatal Ghost. Jumpa's in trouble, uses the Aegis, but it runs out just in time for Reminisst to take him down. Ultimate out of Thoth will do some damage, but it's just going to push players out of the way. With Jumpa down, Memory of Michael do not have the advantage here. But they have the damage, and they should stay local.
They have the damage, but hesitating is not something that Relevated can afford to do. They need to look for Keji as well right now, but trying to ensure that they don't get hit by any sort of CC that would put them into a fickle situation is going to be the difficult part. And Keji's had excellent positioning this entire game as well. Keji and Crimson have been side by side almost the entire game, and that has also been a large attributing factor for the main reason why anybody who goes near them typically tends to die.
Yeah, big damage just being funneled into this sort of one spot. We saw it very early on where the Thoth damage came from the right and Keji's damage came from the left and took down Reminisst for what was one of the first kills of the game. Strictly Business looking for what could be the final Fire Giant here.
It's
almost an
their power
hour
play.
in play. And yeah, Jumpa's still on the bench for 10 seconds. Halfway down to the objective. Inboned and Delny in front of everybody as they should be. Keji trying to inch up and Crimson shooting stuff through the wall. Not going to find a target, but takes players off of the Fire Giant, and that's the goal.
All Fatal Ghost wants to do is kind of chip away at this, maybe see if they can bait anybody in, but now that Jumpa has respawned, and it was actually shitty Business that were split pushing to ensure that their middle Phoenix safely respawns and they don't lose that again to the fire creeps. Smart move, smart play. I can
Very
respect them
smart play.
playing
Yep.
passive on the Fire Giant, keeping that in mind.
Memory of Michael pulls and then leashes fire. One more time, they'll pull. Inboned really wants this Fire Giant. Starting things off again, and Strictly Business are local, they're aware. Fire Giant down to 23%, getting lower, leashed out to 29. Now it's all about the team fight. Sun Wukong on the back line, everybody else on the front line. Trouble as Jumpa lands down, taking out Fatal Ghost. Big boy play coming out from the jungler one more time. Kill number 5 for Jumpa. And with 5 alive for Memory of Michael, they're ready to go for the juice, taking down Fire Giant.
Shitty Business aren't going to contest this any longer, knowing that one of their main sources of damage output has just fallen. Unfortunate for Fatal Ghost. Jumpa has just been looking for him. It's like a heat-seeking missile every single time, going straight onto that Chronos.
And Jumpa knows, if Jumpa dies and Chronos dies, that's still a win.
That's a win all the way.
The Chronos is much more important than Jumpa. 5, 6, and 9, this is one of those slash lines that if you watch the game, this is exactly what he needs to do. Dying 6 times looking for those Chronoses, that's totally fine. I have no problem with what Jumpa's been able to do here in the late game.
And Keji, same could be said for him. I mean, 4, 0, and 9 right there next to Delny with the no death squad of the team. And again, look, Matt Koiz looking for the initiation. Crimson choosing to not launch the ultimate just yet. Oboronic already forced out of both of his actives, just trying to get away. Reminisc's ultimate has come through. Keji can't find it, but Delny finds Oboronic on the backside. And now Jarman trying to get away, but that's going to prove to no use. Reminisst finally cleans up Delny, but with 2 members already being dead, I just don't see them being able to hold off this Phoenix for much longer.
Yeah, Matt Koiz and Reminisst are here. Fatal Ghost does respawn. Remember, he was taken out way earlier in the team fight. Crimson puts an end to Matt Koiz. Keji and Inbone have to walk away. They don't have much time. Keji does have the, wow, got those Devo glows, man. Of course, the Fire Giant helping out a little bit, but a little bit of crit, a little bit of lifesteal. We're back in it. Keji turning around. He does not want to go back to base. Right now, he's telling the team, I can do it. 50 seconds on Jarman, 40 seconds on Oboronic, and over a minute on the support, Matt Koiz. It's Memory of Michael, more importantly, Keji versus Reminisst and Fatal Ghost. 4 players on in Memory of Michael. They're not going home, Taco. They're going to the enemy base. One shot could do it. And he misses off the mark. Instead, looks towards the objective and takes down the Phoenix.
But the objective is what matters most. Getting that left Phoenix just makes it all the easier for a Memory of Michael to finally secure this game. Opting to fall back, however, after picking up 2 of those Phoenixes.
Still just more lifesteal. 2 Phoenixes down for the count. And this is where we'll see the retreat. The probably, you know what, definitely the final retreat on this. This is definitely the final retreat. Because Memory of Michael are going to go towards the fight. And if they lose the fight, they're down for 70 seconds and Strictly Business mosey on down the mid lane and take the Titan at their own pleasure. So whoever wins the next fight wins the game.
The player damage from Memory of Michael has just been absolutely insane between Keji and Crimson. These two have definitely been carrying these team fights. I mean, granted, you've got the setup, you've got the peel that's making it all possible, but you can't win these team fights without ensuring that you're landing your stuff.
Yeah, no, and I think in Memory of Michael in this late game has really come together as a team, and we're seeing it. Delny is zoning, Jumpa's setting up, Crimson and Keji are doing everything, and then Inbound is, you know, being Terra. It's working out really, really well. I think that in Memory of Michael have really shown us that they understand their roles. Nobody's trying to... There's no hero ball here, which I think is really important. Keji's doing his damage from a distance. We're seeing Crimson do his damage from a distance. I like the way this team's working out.
One cohesive unit, and that's the most important part. Strictly Business, like we mentioned at the very start of this game, it was looking really good for them, and it just wasn't as... It wasn't as in sync as we are seeing from In Memory of Michael, and that's really been the big determining factor here between these two teams, is that Strictly Business didn't have it all together when they needed it to be, and In Memory of Michael had zero issues finding their stride. Yeah,
it took them a while, but once they sort of locked in, I think the teamwork out of Memory of Michael sort of outweighed Strictly Business's just sort of individual prowess. Are we going to wait for another Fire Giant?
I believe so. They're trying to play it incredibly safe.
Which makes sense.
Mid Phoenix is going to be respawning, so they want to have that Fire Giant regen and power boost to lock that one down as fast as possible. Just going to go ahead and let Strictly Business revive that bird.
And don't forget, this is for a spot in the SCL. So this is perhaps the biggest game of some of these players' lives. So you know what? I'll give it to them. Better safe than sorry. This isn't just a regular season game. You got to come out of relegation looking clean. 20 seconds left for the Fire Giant respawn, and it's going to go down without a care.
There's this FG is 5 seconds tops. Late game Rom, late game Thoth. The damage is
so with the
insane.
Fire Giant. Is there any chance Strictly Business wins the team fight?
Strictly Business can still win a team fight. Fire Giant is more so for a health regen right now than anything else, just because both of these teams have the burst capabilities to knock everybody out from either side. It's just finding those little moments that they have to capitalize on. Strictly Business has just not really been able to do so nearly as often as In Memory of Michael.
Not quite. Memory of Michael now, again, with the one-man split push on the right-hand side. Looks like they're going to go with the 3-1-1. Again, I like this play. Making sure that all of the waves are pushed up. As long as nobody gets caught out and they're able to respond, it's a good look. The two tankier characters in the middle so that they can spread out. And as soon as Crimson's done pushing up that wave, comes right back into the middle lane.
Ready to keep holding hands with Keji, and that's what these two really just need to do. If they're side by side, it's almost impossible trying to pack a punch into either one of them, because you're going to take damage from the other, whoever you decide to commit to, and Reminisst has found that out the hard way quite a few times this game.
Oh, yeah. Come the late game, he has not been as effective as he was a little bit earlier on. Memory of Michael, 22 kills above as Strictly Business, who own 10. Over an hour of play here, looking for the initiation. Nobody really going for it just yet.
Jumpa's waiting
before the storm, and there's Jumpa.
And he's ready to go up, and Adam, yet again, choosing to land on top of Reminisst, already forcing out his actives. The Mantle of Discord saving his life temporarily. Delny coming under a lot of fire from Fatal Ghost, but Crimson getting aggressed on by Jarman, who's just going to dash on out of there.
Fatal Ghost takes down Inbound, and Ryan Jarman's decoy haunting Crimson there. The impact by the Thor not going to be good enough. Delny trying to defend. Reminisct is the one to take down Jumpa. Now Delny's in trouble. Surrounded by players on Strictly Business. Left side, Crimson takes down Ghost through the wall. This is still a fight.
oBoronic's got to be careful. He's got Kenji and Crimson on his backside. Delny is going to fall, though, with only 2 of the carries remaining. This could potentially be game-ending for Memory of Michael. Despite everything, Strictly Business actually have a chance to end this game.
Are they both backing? Oh.
I
thought we were going to see the race. I thought we were going to see Keji go for the left side.
They'd rather try and defend because this is their only opportunity. Strictly Business have a very good opportunity still to look and end this. Crimson's not going to have that zone available for a couple seconds. It's going to be back up. This is such a hesitant call. If Ghost didn't die, that's game ending. Yeah. But this is just all ifs, ands, and buts from here. It's just, can Reminisst find the CC alongside of Matt Koiz? And oBoronic has to have flawless positioning. I like the shot call to wait for Jarman.
Yeah, Keji has no beats. That's going to be a very big point of this defense. Up in the air goes Jarman right away to help tank the Phoenix. Lands on Keji. Knockup is good. Keji looking for the damage. Can't find it. Here's the ultimate. It's going to be immune by oBoronic. Reminisst wastes his ultimate, however. Keji can't defend. Tier 2, or excuse me, mid lane Phoenix goes down.
They're going to lose their left side Phoenix, however, or the right hand Phoenix if you're Strictly Business. Most likely going to fall if those are fire creeps in the right hand lane.
Oh, but Fatal Ghost is going to go ahead and back.
A wave just fun.
Yeah, he'll save it. There you go. Good job.
Just regular creeps. They weren't the fire ones, which is pretty fortunate for Strictly Business. Still having a massive creep wave like that built up is going to work out.
Everybody healthy one more time. In memory of Michael going for the Portal Demon and taking it down. 1 minute and 15 seconds on the Fire Giant. And we're going to see a back coming out from In Memory of Michael.
We've already seen one person look for the backdoor all-in potential today. It was Cameron in the previous game when it was starting to hover into that 60-minute time zone. Potentially see the same kind of stuff from Strictly Business. Depends on this team fight goes. Keji already poked out massively. The ultimate coming through, but his Aegis will save his life. Now it's going to be Jumpa kind of still just waiting to see if he can land on anybody. No home for the Thor ult this time around.
Ouch. The Thor ult and the Terra ult going down for the count here. Fire Giant spawns in 30 seconds. Thor ult won't be available.
Keji's full health, though, already.
Yeah, that is a good look.
So he can make sure to stick around. Doesn't really have to worry about backing just yet. I would like to have seen oBoronic swap out his build for the more Devo lifesteal kind of build oriented, like a Bloodforge. You can't really go Devos this late into a game, but I would like to see him pick up a Bloodforge for sure and trade out the Transcendence.
Fire Giant spawning now, and Reminisst in trouble. He's going to walk away. Up to the sky goes Keji. One shot's good, second shot's off, third shot won't reach. Reminisst lives, but he'll have to back. Now it's a 5-on-4 just for the moment, but it looks like that's all Memory of Michael needs. Just a moment to take down the Fire Giant. Sticking to it. Memory of Michael, take down the big man. Jarman uses the ultimate. Now on the back line, looking for damage on the Jumpa. Gets hit by that Midgardian Mail. Such a big itemization impact. Deldy gets one off of a nice knockup coming out from the guys on Memory of Michael. Jumpa takes care of Matt Koiz. That wall is good. oBoronic falls down. And what'd you say, Taco?
That is, no questions asked, the game. Reminisst and Jarman going to look to try and push down this middle lane in time, but there's no way that they're able to out-DPS Memory of Michael with all of their members available. Just now about to reach the base. It is going to be a little bit of a base race, but like I mentioned, a Thoth and a Ram versus the Sun Wukong and a Susano. I think it's pretty easy to guess which one wins that trade, and it will be In Memory of Michael securing the win.
Well, it took a while, and like I said, it sort of went the opposite direction. I think that Strictly Business kind of ran that game for a long time, but ultimately In Memory of Michael come through in the clutch by big plays coming out specifically from their mid laner and their hunter.
I think that all around it was really just that moment in time where it kind of just clicked for Michael.
Yeah.
As soon as they were able to hold off after the middle Phoenix was destroyed on their end and then find the kills, it was just a beautiful effort by them to really come back into that game.
Yeah, it was the whole team. We were talking about it, how it was just everybody involved. You saw everybody from Delny and Inboned really playing frontline, setting up so that everybody was out of the way. Jumpa would land on a specific target, and then Keji and the Thoth would just come together and deliver the damage. Just really nice plays.
And, I mean, we've seen it time and time again. Keji on this ROM was just putting out so much damage. That triple crit build really coming up clutch as far as shredding into Jarman. Every single time he tried to jump to that backline, it was too much to handle for Reminisst, so Jarman started trying to be that dissuading factor for the team fight. It just did not work out.
And, you know, the crits work while you're on the ground, but when he takes to the sky, the way he was able to make these shots land were just really, really nice, reading the opposition's direction and which way they were going to move, and using those astral arrows to go through the wall, and then...
I like this one. That was the blind one.
Yeah, doesn't even need the vision, just takes him down. Well, gotta give him a hand. That was nuts.
Yeah. All around, congratulations to Memory and Michael for managing to pick up their first victory, which, I mean, it's only been 2 games today. They just both happen to be an hour long each.
Yeah, as we said, that's going to be in memory of Michael's win. And as we look on to the standings, we'll take a look at how that will affect things. Strictly Business wind up with a loss, and Relevated Gamers, as they're called, will wind up with the victory. So Star Boys and Relevated Gamers will be in position to defend or take their spots, depending on which team you're looking at. As we head further in the day, we'll see how these teams wind up. Game 3 coming at you. Stay tuned to hi-rez.
Think El Castro, knowing that the past broke. Not understand our life's like a blast bolt. Understand rules, it's eternity to blast mode. Listen, bands will be around, feeling steady though. Grooving on that speed when we up in the stereo. Listen, put the volume up, let's say what's up. Listen, all we doing this music don't foolish up. Room with my team, 30 North, we around. If you're looking for them boots, out sale for the crowd. If you understand, listen, now being heated and fitting. Putting this out, can you feel it in the ocean?
You seem ready to give up. Keep going, don't you stop. A little ain't enough, 'cause I am leaving. So you wanna get to know me? I ain't gonna give you any help. Guess you're gonna have to show me. All of you, nobody else. So you wanna get to know me? I ain't gonna give you any help. If you really wanna. If you really wanna get to know me.
2014, tell them holla at you, telling whole scene. Mix and bite at you, put it all and break apart. Hope you good, don't break apart. Essence of the dog twisted. F it, you good, listen. Don't let him go and take your spot. Find your zone every day wishing. Family don't break apart. Damn, it's a cold ass world from the start. Everything we gotta do, stay unconcerned. Wanna change young fella, damn, who you gon' learn if you understand? Listen, now being heated and fitting. Put